This new location I have is really loud sometimes. I'm down in Delano, and everybody feels like they need to show off, their trucks or their souped up cars. I'm on the intersection of Seneca and Douglas, and so there's a quick trip. People are always wanting to show off. But hey, Ryan Lee here. How's everybody doing? I'm with Planet Cheapskate, and I'm here to do the rate update, give a little bit of updates and announcements. Hope you are doing awesome, that you crushed your goals this week. And I wanted to tell a story. Okay, so I was kind of checking out, just scanning through Facebook, and I had a realtor partner that I work with, and she was like uh, bragging about someone's rates that she's seen, and so I click on it, and I'm taken to a profile where this particular banker is advertising rates that are like insane, like just not possible, and it was like fours and stuff like that. And so I was got to thinking about it, and I looked at the little thing that was there, and I noticed one important detail was missing. And this is a good learning lesson for you. When someone is telling you rates that are just out of this world, just not possible, you need to ask a couple questions. One, just try to get your okay. So what are my closing costs going to be? Okay, or is that with any points? And see what they say, because honestly, a loan officer can get you whatever rate you want. The problem is getting you a rate where you're not being charged an arm and a leg for it. So when I do my rate updates, it's important for you to know that I'm doing a 30-day lock and that I'm not charging you any points. Okay. Points are bad. Now, they're not always bad. Sometimes you want to do a buy down. It's all good, as long as the loan officer is making you aware of it. But to advertise rates that are extremely low and not disclose the closing costs or if there's any points paid is very, very misleading. It's deceptive, and it's not something that I would ever do. So I want you to rest assured and know that if you ever tune into my rate update, I'm never giving you rates that cause you to pay points. Everything I have is a reasonable amount. And so if these are rates that I would give you if you met the specifics, you could come into my office and you could get today. So I wanted to just give you that heads up. So it's not always about the lowest rate. It's about the lowest rate for the least amount of costs. And so that's why you want a cheapskate on your side. And that's why if you're out there listening and you need help, my company is in all 48 continental states. So if you need help, I can get you with somebody, and we can get you taken care of. And we're going to be looking out for you, not just on the rate, but also on the cost. Okay. So if you see some just outlandish rates, because usually, now here's another kind of secret. For the most part, lenders are going to be, within probably 0.5%, maybe, if you're working with a broker and you just got some awesome incentives and some extreme pricing, you might get, more than that. And, the broker may just be able to destroy the other rate. But for the most part, if you go to a good lender, a good broker, and you're comparing broker to broker, you might see 0.1%, 0.25% difference between broker and broker. So you really want to go with service or speed. Who's going to get you to the closing table faster? Who's going to provide that service where they give you an update throughout the whole process? You and your agent update throughout the whole process. Who's going to be available on those holidays when you have those just things that are keeping you up at night? Who is going to have the best appraisal process? Because when you're going through a refinance or where you go through a purchase, sometimes these appraisers that these companies are linked up with are just horrible. They're slower than molasses. They're on this vendetta that they want to reevaluate the whole land of America. We have custom appraisal panels. If we have these appraisers who are slow as hell, if we have these appraisers who are on this revaluation vendetta, we get them off our panel. We don't deal with those type of people. We deal with solid professionals who are going to do their job professionally and right and give us a solid valuation. So that's some things to look out for there. I'm popping on here a little bit early tonight just because I have a few things I have to get tidied up this evening. And I'm really stoked. I have a group for realtors that's getting ready to launch. I'm doing some beta testing probably in the next few weeks. I have some awesome volunteers and I have one spot left. So I'm really looking for a realtor outside of my area because a lot of my realtor partners that have worked with me and know, kind of what I've done in the past know that I've generated my own leads for a long time. Prior to working with U Mortgage, I worked for a broker that just to survive, we had to generate our own leads, and that was my duty was to generate the leads. And there was just a survival because we had some bad lenders that we had linked up with in the past, and realtors were not preferring to work with us. And so one of the things we had to do is we had to generate our own leads. And that was something that I overseen and that I generated my own leads to give to realtors to build that relationship. And so they know that I have that skill and that ability. So I want to pass it on now because it's something that I spent, several $1,000s in mastermind groups learning, but I've tweaked it a little bit. I've perfected it, and I think it's something that can scale and that can expand to different territories. So if that's something you're interested in, I have a link, and I will put that down in the comments. Hit that link up and get added. Once I get the beta test, the solid 8 that are agreed to do the beta testing, I could possibly have some participating observers if you just wanted to observe and then maybe give a testimonial at the end of it to see, if you maybe followed along or whatever. I'm definitely down for that and interested. Um, so yeah, just be on the lookout for crazy low rates. If you see those, rates are dropping. They are lower, but they're not extreme. They're not dropping extreme. And so if you see any extreme movements and extreme drops, you need to ask the right questions. The first question you need to ask is, what am I paying any points? And then give me give me an estimate of the closing costs, because that's where the true thing's going to shine through. Okay. So I just wanted to say that. Let's see here. Let me see what's else on the agenda. Hey, if you haven't subscribed yet, we're getting close to the $1,000 or $1,000. Yeah, the $1,000 giveaway. I'm giving away $1,000 Amazon giveaway, a card once I get to 1,000 subscribers. So my analytics tell me that like 96% of my viewers never subscribe. So if that's you out there, go ahead and just subscribe and you have a chance to win $1,000. So there's a link or there's buttons all over the place. Subscribe and we'll take this thing straight to the moon and you'll be along for the ride. I want to do some really cool things. YouTube rewards you once you get to 1,000 subscribers. They start pushing out your content more, and you get monetized, and so I can recoup some of the money that I spent on getting equipment, and I can save up some money and then possibly do some really cool things. The demonstration of the $1,000 giveaway, that's a demonstration of how I'm going to give back. I'm not going to just take the monetization and I'm not going to just keep it all for myself. I'm going to give that money back through to my subscribers, to my community. I want to really make a positive impact. So I kept you waiting long enough. Let's get right to these rates. Now, before we get to these rates, I want to explain. These are not rates that you can go to your credit union, that you can go to your bank and demand. These are rates that I get by making 50 of the most competitively priced banks compete every Friday. And what I do is I just take an average borrower, someone who has like a 700 credit score, trying to borrow $250,000 for a 30-year fixed, and I do it for a lock for 30 days. Okay, and never any points. Okay, so this is going to be reasonable closing costs. And when I say reasonable, I say closing costs that are going to be, depending, on a 250, probably between 3 to 4% of the loan amount. So that's a good rule of thumb for closing costs, unless you get up to a larger loan amount, and then it doesn't necessarily work out like that. But for the average property, 3 to 4% closing costs is about typical. So that's the explanation of the rates. Here we go. So they are coming down, so that's really good. Conventional is at 6.125 with an APR of 6.406. FHA is at 5.625 with an APR of 6.635. VA is at 5.625 with an APR of 5.834, and USDA is at 5.75 with an APR of 6.195. So that is the rates on this Friday the 13th. Be careful out there. I thought about doing a thumbnail for Jason Voorhees and Friday the 13th. I was like, nah, I'll keep it positive. It's a new year. We want to keep it positive. So MLK all the way. Hope everybody has an awesome, awesome Monday. And just take some time to think about how far we've come as a nation, that we now have rights for all individuals. It's an incredible thing. And we've come a long way, and we're going to keep on going into a positive way. So I have a very good outlook on that. So that's the rates. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope everybody has a happy and safe weekend. I will see you on the other side.